Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Marina here, and I'm so glad to welcome you to another episode of the series Common Mistakes Immigrants Make. In this series, I share a number of common mistakes that immigrants, newcomers make in Canada and what you can do to avoid those mistakes. We're gradually coming to the end of this series, guys. This would most likely be the second to the last episode. I just want to say thank you to all of you who have come on this journey with me, for all the feedback, for all the interaction we have had. I just want to say thank you, guys. In today's topic, I'm going to be talking about something that I've hinted a bit about in one of my previous videos where I talked about credit. Today, I'm going to talk about financial planning on a broader scale. So the mistake I'm going to be addressing today is bad financial planning. So guys, I'm going to paint like a picture just to show you what we're really up against. So take for instance, you're a Nigerian man, you moved to Canada at the age of 35. You're not able to get a job immediately, and then you decide to take a course, and it takes you, give it like a year, and you're able to land your dream job. And you start to save, and next thing you're thinking about buying a house and things like that. Very good plan. If you earn an income in Canada, you get taxed income tax, you contribute to the Canada pension plan, and then you contribute to employment insurance. Those are compulsory deductions that come out of everybody's paycheck, right? You who came here at 35 and started to contribute to that at age 36, it looks like it's a good deal. Finally, I'm finding my feet. But backtrack a bit. This is what happens on the other side. The average Canadian at age 16 is able to work. They can work after school, they can work weekends, and they can work during the summers. After you graduate from grade 12, you decide you're going to university. While you're in university, you can work on the side. If you decide, okay, no, not university, I'm going to do like a post-secondary diploma, you can work while you're doing that. So you who started to contribute to CPP and EI and those things at age 36, the average Canadian has started contributing at age 16. And I just found out recently that CPP is prorated in a way that there's a maximum amount of money you can access from it if you do not contribute the entire time. So the person who started contributing at 16 is going to have more advantage than the person who started contributing at 36. So while it looks like, okay, you're finally finding your feet, you're now working, you can now plan and buy a home and things like that, you are technically 20 years behind time in that aspect. Let us sink in for a bit. Another scenario, you come here with a 10-year-old child and you start getting child tax benefit for that child. Child tax benefit is an amount of money that is paid to every Canadian citizen or permanent resident child on a monthly basis to help their parents with the cost of childcare. It's a benefit that is available to every child under the age of 18 years. Right? So your child is now going to start getting childcare. It looks like a good arrangement. Wow, that's extra money. The child is going to be getting extra money. Comparing that child to a child who was born here, your 10-year-old child has missed out on 10 years of getting child tax benefit. If parents are planning properly, that's 10 years of not contributing to RRSP. RRSP is called Registered Education Savings Plan. It's a kind of account where you save, you put a certain amount in and the government puts an amount as well. So it's an account that is used to save for post-secondary education in the future. So while it looks like a good deal that child is now getting child tax benefits at age 10, they have missed out 10 years. So you are already, if you're going to be saving for higher education for that child, compared to a child that was born here, you're already 10 years behind. Do you see the picture? The best time to plan your finances was yesterday. The next best time is right now, which is why we're having this conversation. Because of that quest for survival, a lot of people don't really think about things like this, and that's exactly why we're having this conversation. Okay? That's why you cannot afford to come here and make bad decisions. That's why you cannot afford to come here and live only on credit. That's why you cannot afford to come here and not save. That's why you cannot afford to come here and try to keep up with the Joneses, or try to buy things you cannot afford because you're trying to impress people back home. You cannot afford to do those things. You cannot afford to live to impress people because there are more pressing issues here. Think about it like this. If you don't plan, say you don't start to save towards RRSP for your children, remember they're already 10 years behind. It means you now have 8 years to contribute to RRSP, because at age 18 typically they're getting out of high school. So you have 8 years to save what the regular Canadian had 18 years to do. the time is shorter for you. Imagine not planning that properly. Your children are going to go to higher institution. Of course, they will now go and apply and get student loans, which is available. But think about it this way. Your child goes into university. By the time they are graduating, they are $40,000-$50,000 in debt because of student loans. Or they go to post-secondary institutions. By the time they are graduating, they are between $18,000 to $25,000 in debt because there was no money that was put away for their education. So guys, you say you're giving your children a better life, but is that really better life if they're going to start their adult life with that much debt because there was inadequate planning? So guys, no matter how you look at it, and there's a need for us to sit down and begin to put our resources to good use so that we're making the best decisions for our families. Now that we're trying to make better financial decisions, what can we do different? If you have children, the first thing you want to start to think about is start contributing to an RRSP for your child. If your child is still earning child tax benefits, you want to put a portion of their child tax benefit away towards post-secondary education for them. Save a bit of it. Now I understand that sometimes before you find a job, the child tax benefit can help in paying off some of your utilities depending on the amount and depending on the age of the child. Don't forget that as the child gets older, their child tax benefit reduces. So the best time, if you have not started already to contribute, is today. While the child is young, they are able to access more money. And don't forget that when you start working, when your income increases, the benefits you can access reduces as well. So the best time to do it is today. The best time to do it is right now. Don't let your children start their lives with debt, honestly. I just don't think it's fair. If you're bringing them here because you want to give them a better life, now helping them start life with $40,000 in basis, it's not the right way to give anybody a better life. That's not better life. It's going to set them back by a number of years. It's going to set them back a lot. The things that other people who are not paying back student loans can do, it will limit them because they're going to be saddled with that burden for a long time. So you want to make sure that you're making the best decisions that give your children a proper start in life. So save. If you can maximize your contribution so that you can get the maximum matching contributions from the government, all the better for you. But make sure you are saving towards education for your children. Another thing you want to consider doing is consider opening a registered retirement savings plan, RRSP, for yourself, especially if you have now climbed into the second income tax bracket. I'll explain what that means. In Canada, income tax is progressive. The more you earn, the more you pay as taxes. If you earn anything between 0 to 47,000, you are taxed at 15%. If you earn 60,000, for instance, the first 47,000 is taxed at 15%, and then the difference up to 60,000 is taxed at, I think it's a little over 20%, 20.9 or 20.7, I'm not very sure. I'll put the correct figure on the screen, but that's how much you are taxed if you are in that second income tax bracket. As soon as you climb into that second income tax bracket, RRSP is a must. Or like people say, you will continue to work for the government. You'll be paying them back money every year when it's tax season. Tax season, when people are now waiting to get a refund, you are going to be paying back the government because you have not paid enough taxes. You want to make sure you are considering RRSP, savings into the future, and as a means of tax planning as well, right? Now guys, this is another thing that a lot of people don't really stop to think about. Basic healthcare in Canada is free. Basic healthcare is covered, but prescription medication and those critical conditions are not covered. So you want to start to think about getting medical insurance. If you work in a place where there's extended medical coverage, all the better for you. So you can have things like your vision, like your dental, prescription medications. Those things can be covered under an extended healthcare coverage if your employer offers it as a benefit. If not, you want to start to look into options like medical insurance. Those things cost you next to nothing on a monthly basis, but it can save you a lot of headache on the long run. You want to start thinking about things like life insurance. Guys, it is not typical. This is not a typical conversation that happens among immigrants because, I mean, it's not a popular thing. All of us just believe we will live forever, right? People don't really talk about these things, planning for the end of life, talking about life insurance. People don't really have these conversations, but guys, you are going to need to start to have those conversations when you get here. Medical insurance is not luxury. It is almost going to become a necessity with the way things are going. Guys, let me just tell you the truth. There are people who have come here, they are falling sick and they have died. There are people who came here as husband and wife. Somewhere along the line, one spouse got sick and they died. Funeral cost is not cheap here. I consider medical insurance as a form of financial planning, because what if you get sick and it is not covered? Who is going to pay for it? The whole idea of financial planning is to live your life in such a way that you do not become a burden on anybody tomorrow. You plan today so that you don't become a burden tomorrow. That's why I'm talking about things like medical insurance, because if eventually anybody comes down with those critical conditions, it's not the person who is sick that is starting to worry about how to pay. It's the people around you. It's your friends, it's your family, it's people who now start running helter-skelter trying to look for how to pay. Guys, nobody plans to be sick. Nobody plans to get into any critical condition. Nobody plans to now go on long-term disability. But you have to plan your life as if anything is possible. That's the whole importance of financial planning. The statistics we see these days is crazy. It is no longer, oh, it happens in old age. These things that we thought used to happen in old age, it is coming closer and closer. And guys, lifestyle has changed. We are no longer eating food that is as organic as we have always known it. People are no longer as active. We have sedentary lifestyles. We don't exercise, no sports, nothing, and we eat those our high calorie foods, and you expect that there will be magic. If you do not take care of your physical body, of course you're going to be sick. And when you get sick and those things are not covered, you now start to use credit to pay, getting yourself deeper and deeper into debt. That's why you need to plan now. Ask your bank. Most banks always have those coverage. Sometimes it can be as low as $5-10 a month, but if you get sick, they can pay you up to $25,000 to $50,000 depending on the insurance coverage that you pick. So start thinking about those things. We're not getting younger. Times are changing. If you're not making healthy decisions, if you're not insisting on a healthy lifestyle, you cannot just sit down there and say, I'm not going to do anything. If you eat pounded yam at 8 p.m., you don't exercise, there's no physical activity there, and then you eat what you like, drink all the junk, eat all the junk, and you expect you will not get sick. You are just deceiving yourself. God is a healer, not a magician. So you have to start to think, either adjust your lifestyle so that you are more health conscious, take your health checks seriously. It's not, you know, back in Nigeria, we don't really have the culture of going to the hospital unless we're sick. Here, you're going to go to the hospital before you are sick. In your best interest, that is how to do it, okay? Go take all those your health checks seriously. You're going to have to make different choices to get different outcomes. In the meantime, get insurance. I know people in this Canada who are still alive, but they have already bought the plots where they are going to be buried. The conversations around end of life here, they are so different. People are very open talking about things like that. I know people who are alive, but they are taking insurance to cover the cost of their funerals. Some of them are taking insurance to cover the cost of cremation. So people plan for their end of life, and until we start to get comfortable with talking about these things, we will continue to take ourselves by surprise. Please don't become a burden on people. When you die, let people cry because they are going to miss you, not because they are thinking of the gbese they are going to pay for burial. Okay, another thing people need to consider is, as soon as you are working, you have children, you bought a home in Canada, you want to start to think about writing a will. That's not the kind of conversation a lot of people want to hear. But guys, when people die interstate, which is die without a will, when people die interstate, you can lose a large portion of what it is that you would have handed down to your who you left behind. A lot of what you would have left to them, you can lose it in administrative fees. Like, it's a lot. What one piece of paper that is notarized can save you. Time has come for us to start to have these difficult conversations. That's a goal that I have for this year, to put something to paper. Just let it just be there, because it's not an act of fear. It's not from a place of you are inviting death. For me, death is not the end. Personally, I don't believe death is the end. I believe that death is the end of one era, but the beginning of eternity. So I'm not as afraid. The way death has been painted to us, it's almost like it's one very bad, mysterious thing. Honestly, death is a part of life. It is as natural as birth. Birth is celebrated, but death is not talked about. They are both natural phases of life that must happen. So the earlier we begin to plan, like we know that we're not going to be here forever, the earlier we begin to plan in such a way that it takes the burden away from the people who are leaving behind, the better for everybody, guys. I don't mean to scare anybody. I'm just letting you know, like, in this place where we are, these are conversations that people are more open to. Death has been demystified in a way that people are comfortable. Like I said, I know people who are alive, they have bought their burial plot. Is that an act of fear? No, it just takes away the burden from the people they are leaving behind. So when those people pass away, somebody is going to cry because they really miss them, not because you're thinking of, how am I going to pay for this, how am I going to pay for that, which is what a lot of us are used to, if we want to say the truth, right? Plan your life in a way that tomorrow is better. That's what all of this is. So you're going to have to make tough decisions today so that you're guaranteed a better quality of life tomorrow for yourself and for your children. I'm looking at getting a financial advisor to come on this channel just to talk to us about these things and give us professional advice. At the end of the day, we want to make sure that we're making decisions today that would improve and guarantee a better quality of life later in life for ourselves and for our children. Well, thank you very much, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something from this, guys. Like I said, the intention was not to scare you. The intention was to open our eyes to all the possibilities that there are so that we can put everything on the table and make better financial decisions today. Thank you very much for watching this, guys. If you have a comment or a question, please leave it below. I'll be very glad to hear from you. If there's anything you want to talk about more privately, my email address is always in the description box of my videos. Please do want to leave me an email and I'll get to them as soon as I can. Well, thank you once again for watching this video, guys. If you're yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so on your way out. Until I come your way on the next episode and maybe the last episode of the series, Common Mistakes Immigrants Make, it is Marina saying thank you and have a great day. Bye bye.